Hello. Jesus says, I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you cared for me. I was in prison and you visited me. And then the righteous will say, but Master, how could we have known that that was you? And he said, whatever you do for them, you do it for me. So whatever it is that you do for the poor, for those that are sick, for those that are in prison, for those that need food, for those that need water, for those that need shelter, you're doing it to Jesus or for Jesus. So my question is, does Jesus get your best or does he get your worst? When you clothe him, do you give him rags? Do you give him torn clothes, dirty clothes and smelly clothes? When you feed the needy or a stranger, do you give them leftovers? Do you give them rotten food? Do you give them food that you cannot eat? What do you give? Do you give the worst or do you give your best? Because whatever it is that you're giving or doing for them, you're doing it for the Master Jesus. Do you feed Jesus or do you give? Do you give Jesus rotten food to eat? Do you give him leftovers that you cannot eat? That is my question. Are you giving him the worst or are you giving him your worst or are you giving him your best? Hey, English will finish me. But get this. If Jesus was to come here with a crown, with a white robe, probably in a Range Rover, you wouldn't give him rags. You wouldn't give him, the worst food possible. You take care of him. But he's not going to come like that. He says, I was sick, so he needs care. I was hungry, he needs food. I was thirsty, he needs water. I was a stranger and you took me in, he needs shelter. That is Jesus. Because whatever it is that you do for those that are in need of these, you're doing it for Jesus. So do not neglect the sick because you're neglecting Jesus if you do so. Do not mistreat or neglect strangers because you're neglecting Jesus if you do so. The same Jesus that you claim to love, the same Jesus that we claim to preach, and surrender all to, is the same Jesus that we're ignoring. It's the same Jesus that we're giving rags, we're giving filthy things. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. But the question is simple. Do you give your best or do you give your worst? The kind of giving that Jesus really desires is when you give your best. The clothes that you give good clothes that you like. Give quality, clean clothes. When you give food, the food that you like, the food that you eat, not the food that you don't want to eat, not the food that is expired. Take care of Jesus the same way you'd want to be taken care of. Give your best. Don't give your worst. That is the kind of giving that pleases the Master. Hey, giving is good. I'm a giver, but what are you giving? Are you just getting rid of the things that you don't want? Or are you actually giving things worth having, things of value? In addition, when you serve, or whatever you do in service to God, do your best. Give your best. Just do your best, because whatever it is that you're doing it for Jesus. So I don't think you'd want to say, Jesus, today I'm going to give you the worst things possible. I'm not going to serve you with excellence. I'm not going to do good. I'm going to do bad. Either has somebody offended you? It doesn't matter. If somebody has offended you, it does not matter. give your best always. Always. And God, He will reward you however He chooses to reward you. And do not give because there is a reward. Do not serve because there is a reward. Give because you have love. Do because you love your master. You know, it is the same way in a relationship. You don't say, I'm doing this and this and this for you so that you can give me this and this and this and this. No, you do because you love. You give because you love. You don't do for a reward. You don't serve for a reward. You don't love for a reward. You love because that is just how love is. It is not self-seeking. It is not selfish. So in your giving, don't be selfish. You know, don't count, oh, today I've given this, I've given this, I've given this. So, God, I want this and this and this and this because I have been giving. No, don't do that. Give because you have love. And give because you have been given by the grace of God. Because whatever it is that you really have right now, it is because of the grace of God. So, it is because of the love of God. So, in service, don't give your worst. Give your best to your fellow brothers, to your fellow neighbor, and to Jesus. Because whatever it is that you really do for others, you're doing it for Jesus or to Jesus. So I plead with you, go and do your best. And I know, and I'm sure, I know that when you give your best, our God will be pleased with you. Don't give your worst. Don't give the things that you discard, like leftover energy, leftover food, attitude. Your best. Always. So, shalom. Take care.